Fine lodgings you have found, my friend. Boo is already in negotiations with the guardian spirits of this place. In Baldur's Gate, they are likely to be rat-formed and eager to charge rent. But Boo shall secure safe slumber for all. Now, what do you need of Minsc? So dark an alliance sealed with Sentish contracts, cultish vows, and a dragon's shining horde. You think Minsc could forget? You are correct. I have no idea what any of that was about. But we shall simply... Boo! Why do you gnaw at my soft parts? I am trying to... Once again, in smaller words? I see. This truth you seek. Boo believes that Minsc is knowing more than Minsc knows. But it is a difficult thing. There are memories of this time that Minsc does not remember. And Boo suggests that, just as he helps with tricksome itches in awkward places, you must reach what Minsc cannot. The parasite. You can use it to tickle free whatever truth you seek. I much prefer your methods, my friend, but Boo is resolute. The worm it must be.
At first, there is nothing. His mind is empty as a still expanse of open country. But then... Your face, the Stone Lord's face, mirrored in bloodied steel. In the heat of burning buildings, you hold your blade high above pale, frightened faces.
No, that is not right. I slew only monsters. The voice said that they were monsters.
A whisper. The Absolute's voice, twisting the petty guild thieves before you into snarling, savage beasts, feeding on the weak of your city.
The guild. The Stone Lord hunted them, peeled away their rotten ranks one by one to lay bare their corrupt heart. 9-finger skin. That is what the Absolute bought Black Zentish Steel to do. To kill the Guildmaster. What does it matter? Cultish thinking has occupied Minsc's mind for long enough. Now is time for doing. And this talk of evil overthrowing evil, pah! Like a many-headed hydra biting at its own throat. Bring forth the hydra, says Boo. More faces for the punching. First we pop the Zentarim blood. Then we show 9 fingers, the 5 fingers of Minsc. Yes? It is only justice, then, that we put a boot upon hers. What is it, my friend? Of course, my friend. Or are we not friends? Boo never looks to give me fleas. Sometimes you just pick these things up along the path. Now, does Boo see a question in your eye, or just a parasite poking through? Ah, distressing. Well, the mind of Minsc is a simple place. Of what strangeness do you speak?
The memories resurface, a lifetime of battles blurring into one. A single constant is Minsc, launching into the fray no matter the foe, be they god, monster, or man. It seems just the barest glimpse of what the man before you has seen and done, but enough to know that he has no right to still be alive.
Ah, wait! That look in your eye. I know exactly what visions of Minsc you have seen to cause you such wonder. My pants. Thrice laced, in the Rashomar style, so that a berserker might split skulls without fear of splitting breeches too. They are fiendishly complex, but fear not for Minsc. With training, he has learned to master the many little knots. Well, as have you, no? Do not forget that when you gaze into Minsc, Minsc also gazes into you. We both fight evil, wherever it is found. The who and where are less important than the hamsters you meet along the way. On this matter of sharing memories, I see no reason for us to worry at one another's worms. If there is more we wish to know, we can simply ask, no? Exactly so! If I must peer into the mind of my enemy, I use an axe. For friends, there is ale. No, my friend. If you fear you have a question that Minsc cannot answer, then you can simply ask Boo. As you wish, but quietly. It is listening. No! There is a very ancient and very wise saying that Minsc lives by. He who would try to control evil must beware lest evil tricks him, steals his clothes, and kicks his backside with his own boots. I read it on the privy wall in the Blushing Mermaid many years ago. Oh, Minsc knows all about this Emperor. It has tried to introduce itself to me already. Minsc does not trust it. No, I do not think our new friend wishes to see me blubbering, Boo. Minsc is normally the strong and violent type, but if you insist on hearing a sad tale, he can tell it. This Emperor played a very cruel trick. It made me believe that something lost had been found. It came to me in dreams, wearing a face I never thought to see again. Dinah here, a witch of my homeland. She was to be the greatest of them, and I her protector. It was not easy. She was a fierce and independent cub. She did not think she needed Mother Bear Minsc to protect her. And she was right. The elders sent us out into the world, thinking it would teach her to bow a little. But it was the world that bowed to Dinah here, wherever she went. And Minsc blundered along behind. And in the end, it was she who died, protecting me. No, my friend. It is not the past I saw, but Dinah here as she would have been. Should have been. Hearing her voice again. For a moment, Minsc almost believed it. But then, the Emperor made a mistake. It did the one thing that Dinah here would never, ever do. It told Minsc exactly what he wanted to hear. Dinah here. Hers was more the habit of teaching Minsc many new ways to say the word fool. I think on what she would say to Minsc now, cowering from a creature in his own skull. Fine. If you say this tadpole is a weapon, then let us wield it. So long as it is still our hearts that guide us, yes? Or better yet, my hamster. You come to speak of the last time Minsc stood watch? The snoring, it was Boo. There is more than a little to know, I think. I am huge. Ah, you come in search of stories. It is not yet time to tuck Boo in for the night, but very well. After our adventurings with the Ballspawn, Boo had had his fill of godly flesh. So, we returned to Baldur's Gate for a time. After all, in every city there is a sweaty underbelly, crying out for a virtuous scrubbing. None better to wield a brush than Minsc and Boo. Perhaps we rubbed some villain's rump a little too raw. This Minsc does not know. One moment we stood in the city slums, the next, ambush! Then Minsc and Boo woke on the wide, with stone dust in sensitive places. The mind of Minsc was occupied with important matters. I was browsing a slum vendor's stall, looking for Boo's favorite nuts. And then, I was stoned. For Minsc, those years passed as quick as a hiccup. It was long ago, then it is now. I do not like these metal men on the streets, or the villains who hide behind them. But the new world is not so different to the old one. The city still clings to the hill. The sea still stretches on forever. And the stench of evil still makes Boo wish for a tiny peg on his nose. As long as that stench remains, no matter how old or young the world is, Minsc and Boo will not rest. Well, Boo, explain yourself. Clear enough? Can you not? Do you not see his noble bearing? The deep wells of wisdom that are his eyes? Boo speaks of much. Perhaps one day, you will be ready to listen. There is nothing jestful in the bond between a ranger and his companion. Before Boo, I was a typical berserker of Rasheman. Duty-bound and full of my own seriousness. The problem with one so gazing of their navel, however, they are easily ambushed. Brigands split my skull like a sodden wineskin. It was as I recovered that Boo first appeared. He told me that I had felt the great poking finger of justice, marking Minsc as its champion and Boo as my guide. As for the headache, well, justice cannot always afford to be gentle. Really? Boo, I think our friend has suffered a head wound of his own. Now, shall we away? My boots crave the crunch of unvirtuous nethers. What is it, my friend? Minsc is an open book, with many pretty pictures. Ah, Boo has an inkling that this is not the question you mean to ask. I saw some hints of things when our minds mushed together, but Jaheira confirmed it for me. You are of the same blood as our old friend, a Ballspawn, and as close to Minsc as if they were his own kin. That makes Minsc your uncle. So long as you do not call Bal Father Dearest, you may call Minsc whatever you wish. Family is a complicated knot, big as a fist. Take Minsc. He does not have a clear memory of the face of his father, but he does remember tugging on the thick, red whiskers that sprang from his chin. A beard for the ages. Boo could have nested there happily through even the harshest of Rashomon winters. Now, look closely at Minsc, and what do you see? Correct! There are more whiskers on Boo's tiny face than on the mighty chin of Minsc. If Minsc did not inherit the flaming red hair of his mother, or the bushy red beard of his father, why would the spawn of Baal inherit his wickedness? It is precisely the same, although one is far easier to kick than the other. A little rest to brush the road from Boo's fur, and then back to our adventuring. Minsc is an open book, with many pretty pictures. You hear that, Boo? Your keen skills of observation have not gone unnoticed. Our friend wishes to consult your wisdom. So small is Boo that he is often mistaken for a pinecone, and many secrets are spoken in his hearing. He will tell what he knows. But Minsc, of course, will translate. Oh, the pale scoundrel has his charms, it cannot be denied. But, my friend, it gives me no pleasure to tell you, Astarion is not what he claims to be. Just last night, Minsc was dressing one of his many heroic wounds in camp, when Astarion stumbled upon the scene. I tell you, he grew pale as death itself. He licked his lips and trembled so violently that Minsc thought he might faint on the spot. The truth is painful, but undeniable. Astarion is a coward. How can he fight the battles to come when he grows soft at the first sight of blood? Just one moment. You are sure? And you could not have told me this before? Minsc may have been mistaken. Boo presents compelling evidence that Astarion may in fact be a vampire. I fear my hamster has the right of it, as always, but fear not. This world is a strange and wondrous place. Minsc has seen the soul of an angel in a child of Baal. Once, even a kind banker. If the sun can bear to look upon Astarion's monstrous face, then so can Minsc and Boo. For now, at least. I do not wish to speak of the wizard. I could not have said it better myself. He came to me one night with a little book of mischief, full of words and their meanings. Posterior, he says. Can you say posterior? Pwah, I refused. Minsc does not need to know the language of wizards. An impossible task. Minsc knows everything that Minsc knows, and Boo knows the rest. Gale would do better to educate himself in the ways of sword and steel than to throw these pointy words at Minsc. Ah, yes. Gale also owns a cat. A cat with wings. That is most unnerving for poor Boo. What? That is 1,000 times more interesting than anything that has ever been written in a book. Gale! My good friend! Where are you? Minsc and Boo would like to hear about the exploding! You will grow to like Jaheira's incense in time. Like chewing herbs and soap, yes? Minsc is an open book, with many pretty pictures. Who is ready with the musings?
I think you might have made a terrible, terrible mistake. Huh? Chasing rumor halfway around the city and back. Crossing the guild. Wading through filth. Defying the one creature upon whom your very life depends. All for a madman and his rodent. The Absolute threatens thousands. The entire coast. And still you risked much to help one man. I should berate you. But I can only say thank you. Your reasons were your own. But whether you meant for it or not, your fight is our fight, huh? Both of us. To the very end. Ah, those misty eyes are just age. Yes, I feel myself growing older as we stand here. So, lead the way. We're yours to command.